Call to order Monmouth City Council meeting for Tuesday, November 17th, and ask Phyllis to call the roll, please.
Councillor Carey?
Here.
Councillor Guthrie?
Yep.
Councillor Johnson?
Here.
Councillor Milligan?
Here.
Councillor Schaefer?
Here.
Councillor Silbernagel?
Here.
Mayor Oberst?
Yep. All rise for the pledge, please. The pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. The first item tonight consists of the consent calendar, the minutes from the council meeting on November 3rd, and also the work session that same evening. If I could have a motion to approve those two sets of minutes.
Move approval of both.
Second. Moved and seconded. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have a presentation tonight. Is that you, Bill?
Well, it is. I'm dragging my feet here a little bit because what I need to present isn't here yet.
Well, you want to wait until after council reports on boards and commissions?
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll come back around to you.
All right. Mr. Mayor, I can do that now.
Oh, okay, go for it. Name and city for the record, please.
Well, my name's Bill Foster. I'm here tonight representing the Monmouth Business Association. And I'm honored to do that. I'd first like to thank Mr. Mayor, you and the council for your support of the music in the park over the last several years. And for the support you've given us, that and the Parks Board and Monmouth Power and Light and the Public Works Department. Been very helpful and supportive. It's always nice to see you guys at the events. It's fun to watch. It's good just to see you around. And I'd also, who doesn't get much recognition, I'd also like to thank Mark Fancy for all the work that he has done over the years, getting our music, and we're really appreciative of that. And with that, Mr. Mayor, Monmouth Business Association is pleased to present to you and the council, back to the city, a check for $5,000. Well, unfortunately, I wanted my name up there. They wouldn't let it. We had to settle on that.
Okay, very good. Thanks. That's a great little piece, Bill. Appreciate that.
No problem. My pleasure.
Put that right up here as your name tag.
So just a little bit of background on that too. When we first adopted our Parks Master Plan and had the amphitheater project on there, it was sort of down the list, something we wanted to accomplish, and the Business Association came forward and asked us to please consider moving it up the list. So we did, and made certain that we could get that done in a timely fashion, and I think that their support for that project is an important piece, and I appreciate it, Bill, and to the association, and looking forward to next summer when we've got that piece in place. My mayor's report tonight is short and simple. I neglected to mention last meeting that I had sort of a first go-around coffee with the president of the university and had an opportunity to, just check in and get to know each other a little bit, talk about some of the issues around town. I sense a president who is really interested in trying to enhance the ties between the university and the community, as we have indicated, and as our visioning process has indicated that we would like to do as well. So I'm looking forward to that. One of the items that did come up was the connection between MyNet and the university, which at this point MyNet provides television and telephone services. And so we followed that up a few weeks later. I sat down for lunch with the president and Don Patton. And I mostly just sat there and enjoyed lunch while the two of them bounced ideas back and forth about the way that those two institutions could work together for the benefit of each other and, more importantly, for the broader community. So I am in the mode right now of getting out of the way and letting them do their thing and see what comes out of that process. But I'm optimistic that this will be, another little piece of the the big puzzle of how we bring the entire community closer together and working around that MINET piece. With that, I would like to turn to the reports from the council reps to the boards and commissions and ask Councilor Guthrie to tell us about the library board.
So it's actually been a couple weeks since the library board met. They won't be meeting in November, but we talked with the Friends of the Library, and they continue to do good fundraising work. And other than that, the library just kind of keeps trucking along. Not much to report. They are wrapping up their summer programs and getting ready for some holiday stuff. So
Okay.
keep an eyeball on the library schedule.
Right. Very good. Councilor Johnson.
And we met on the 4th for the Historic Commission. We basically wrapped up what they've done for the year on cost of the signs for the historic buildings. Some of the things they've accomplished this year, which we've already talked about, the apps, the signs, and trying to get a program really ready to go for next year for the walking tour. And then the big thing we're looking at was a new ideas for state grants. So we're meeting again in December to try to come up with some of those ideas to put in for the smaller grants that are $5,000 to $10,000 to help us along with our historic problem. And as far as planning commission, they didn't meet on the 4th. So.
Okay. Councilor Carey, trees.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the tree board had a tree planting on November 7th. I think there was 8 trees when they went out. I was not there. It was very wet if they didn't get it done early. We had a home football game, and we had an alumni group that goes back to 1975, so I didn't make it. However, we do meet on the 19th, this coming Thursday, and first on the agenda is a recap of that fall planting. So I'll have that nailed next time around.
Very good.
So I'll have it. Also on the agenda is the planning for the recertification of the Tree City USA, which we've been at it for, I can't read the sign, but it's like 15 years now. And then do some planning for the 2016 year, which will include the Arbor Day and spring planning and other things.
Very good.
Was there a student that was kind of up the ante on the Tree City USA, I believe, in the past, from Western, joined that board? Do you know anything about that?
Well, there's a faculty member that was working with it. Brian Dutton was working with us for a while, and then there were some students connected with that, but I might have missed.
Designation or something.
We had a student on the board, Michael Calhoun, who's graduated from school, is no longer on the board. He was working at WU to have them pursue the Tree Campus USA.
That's what it was.
Separate from the Tree City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they are on that process.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that it, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilor Schaefer, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec met with us last time we all got together, and they are taking a break until after the new year.
Okay. And I would like to throw in, WinPeg officially has its high definition server. And if you go looking for channels 17 and 18 on MyNet, you won't find them because now there's channels 717 and 718. And so the university is broadcasting there. They've been producing in high def for a long time now. It's on MyNet in high def, and our locally produced stuff has been shot in high def the last few years, and it will now be actually seen in high def. And of course, there's also going to YouTube and searching WinPeg, and you'll find all those same videos there.
WinPeg video.
WinPeg video, thank you. And so, moving that piece forward. We're looking to get some high def receivers going on the satellite dishes so we can up the signal there to high def as well when we bring in NASA and the Arch channel, and that's going to be the next little piece. So just continuing to move that forward. And any community announcements tonight? There's a tree lighting coming
I was
up.
gonna say, it's probably the
First Friday in December. The
Yep.
parade starts at 6 at the library, goes past the tree on campus at about 6:30. And once the tail end of the parade finishes, we have the last few bits of formality, and then the lucky essay winner will press the plunger and light the tree. So that's always a fun community event, and I've always been impressed how it brings out Monmouth and Independence and folks from the surrounding community all on campus at Western together. And of course we have Post-tree, there are things going on in the Warner Center, so pencil that one in and come enjoy the show.
December 4th.
December 4th.
After the parade, there's always events in the Warner Center, but the highlight tends to be the pictures with Santa.
Right.
So be prepared for a little bit of a line waiting for Santa Claus.
Get
He's a
there.
popular guy.
That's right.
Get there early. It sometimes lights quicker than you expect.
Right.
We were a little tardy last year, walking up there.
Well, it's, we had one winter not long ago where it was so cold.
Yeah.
We just kind of showed up and turned the tree on and went home. It was bad. That's the only community announcement I have. Anybody else have anything? Okay. City manager.
Yep, just a couple items. The Senior Center had a Veterans Day breakfast on Wednesday, and they get another successful event. They actually had over 100 people that they served at that meal, and had some ceremonies to be able to recognize the veterans, so very good function on their part. One coming up on the 24th, actually at Central High School. School's closed for the day, but they're actually going to be doing a police exercise there. And they're trying to get the word out because there's going to be cars all over the place. It's an active shooter scenario. And no matter how many times you tell everybody, somebody's going to think it's real. And so we're trying to just do everything we can to say it's an exercise, it's only an exercise. So I'm just going to get it on camera. You can tell your friends when they yell and say what's going on, it's an exercise.
I wonder if we can get banners made in time over the street that say
They're
it's only
going
an
to try
exercise.
something. They're trying to get signage kind of wrapped around the campus.
Everybody's marquee in town saying it's only an exercise.
Yeah, that's always a tough one to get out.
Right.
It is, because a lot of people just don't.
No.
They're in the normal channels, you know.
And having a student at Central, we got a phone call tonight from the auto message machine with Buzz's voice on it, telling us about this upcoming event. So the district's doing their part. Could we use our reverse 911 to spread the word with that?
Maybe. That's a good point.
Just a good way to contact the community, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just last one, just amphitheater work is going fine. Obviously, the weather hasn't helped with some of the dirt work. But we're in Oregon, so.
Buy a big tent.
Filling up those tanks.
Right. That's right. Okay. Are there any citizen comments tonight on anything that's not otherwise on the agenda? And seeing none, we'll turn to the business agenda, which is a single item tonight, and the second reading and adoption of the park regulation ordinance. And Phyllis, I think this is yours, if you have anything you'd like to throw in.
I do, Mayor Oberst and Council. We brought this to you last time as a first reading and of the ordinance with revision of prohibited behaviors in the park. Councilor Carey expressed a concern about that sleeping in the park was not addressed in this one in a different section. We checked with the police department. It was determined because of the park curfew, we don't have an issue with people sleeping in the park, and people are not allowed in the park at the time people would be sleeping, and we don't have an issue of that in Monmouth at all. So that was basically what we determined.
Well, that's fine for, and I'm going to be a yes on this, just to move it, but you know, there may be a time when we have problems with people sleeping, not on any of the prohibited deals at hours that are not covered by curfew. And I think we'll need to decide whether or not to address that.
And I can speak, John, specifically going down to the Monmouth Rec Park, and there was somebody using one of the dugouts as a place to nap during the day. So, you know, that would be an example of what you're talking about, I think.
We don't have that issue at the moment, and hopefully it's if we do, it's you know, fairly far out. However, you know, I've seen it in the last couple of months in places that I've been fairly frequent, and so we'll just need to keep our eyes open on that, and if we need to modify, we modify.
Yeah, Phyllis is right. We looked at that, and one thing I said I would check would be if Monmouth has a camping ordinance, generally a camping ordinance, not necessarily overnight, but just setting up, and we don't. Some communities do, Dallas does, but that was also another question for the chief, whether it would be useful to add a camping on public property ordinance. to the mix, and again, his response was really, it isn't a problem, so didn't think it was an issue, but if it should become an issue, there's a ready ordinance to pull out of the box, and maybe we can address it quickly.
Yeah. No sense adding things we don't need.
That was his
So we
sense.
do need to be
That was
queued
his
up,
sense, yeah.
should we need them.
Be sure, Lane, if we get there, to include an exception for camping during total eclipses of the sun in 2017.
Okay, that would be fun.
Because I have a feeling
That would
we're
be
going to have a
fun.
lot of people in town. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. Okay, and just to clarify, we're modifying.
I got one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the new facility we're putting in on Main Street Park, is there anything we need to add in regards to that, the new usage of that facility, with the bathrooms, and isn't there going to be changing room possibly, or concession stand on there or anything?
Not a concession stand, because the stage just has storage units on the
Sure.
sides, and then just the restroom.
Okay.
Any storage would be closed off.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the
No
only
new
place
uses.
someone might want to, the cover itself would be a good place, and if we start having an issue, then we can
Yeah,
address
figure it out.
I think just keep an eye on it, and if we see things starting to park, we can always respond to it. So at any rate, I wanted to just clarify that we had an issue with a bounce house being set up in a park after someone said, "Can I put up a bounce house?" And we said, "When you get $1 million worth of insurance, liability insurance on it, you can." And they said, "Oh, okay, never mind." And then they went ahead and put their bounce house up. So we had made clarification that that's not going to be something you can do. Putting up, bounce houses and water slides. So that's the change we've made in this ordinance. And this would be ordinance number 1362. And reading by title, an ordinance amending Monmouth City Code Section 9.15.020 relating to prohibited behavior in parks. And if there's no further discussion, if I could have a motion on that.
I move to adopt ordinance 1362, amending Monmouth City Code Section 9.15.020 relating to prohibited behaviors in city parks.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Phyllis?
Counselor Guthrie,
Yes.
Counselor Milligan,
Aye.
Counselor Johnson,
Aye.
Counselor Carey,
Aye.
Counselor Silvernagle,
Aye.
Counselor Schaefer.
Aye.
I'll vote yes too, even though it doesn't count. Okay, so we have two other things to do tonight. One is a work session, one is an urban renewal agency meeting. I think the urban renewal agency should be relatively short, and,
It could be.
well, do we, yeah, no, I got it.
I actually rethought that with guests in the audience. I'd still probably advocate to go ahead and do the work session and hold it in renewal.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do that then. And we also have an executive session tonight, so before we get to any of that, I'd ask if there are any council comments tonight. Yeah, Rob?
Yeah, I wanted to thank all the people that were there for the tree planting. That's a comment. It was muddy, rainy, and we did get it done. So thank you very much for all the people who showed up. My first time. And thank you, Mark, for getting us directed in the right way. So we did get trees planted, and I hope we got them staked the right direction. So thank you.
I tried really, really hard to get up and go to that one that morning. I just couldn't make it happen, sorry. Any other council comments tonight?
So out of the Rural Tourism Studio, one of the initiatives that was launched was a little bit of bike tourism. Part of that sort of aligned up with the Ride with GPS folks and the phone app that they have, as well as the website. And we just received notice about a month ago that we passed 1,000 views on that. And as a thank you, they sent me this fine water bottle. It says Ride with GPS. But they also sent us some beautiful postcards with the photos that we took and attached to that route. And I would have them here to show you, except I've left them for 2 meetings in a row on my dining room table. If Megan gets home at 7:30, she's going to send me a photo. At least anyone that's left, if you want to see them, I'll have the photo on my text message by then.
Okay.
But I promise I'll bring them to the next meeting. You can also see them over at the Chamber of Commerce. They sent us a pretty good stack, probably about 50 of them.
Cool.
And short of peeling off 5 or 6 for council, I took the rest over to the chamber so that folks are stopping by. They can see all the folks out there enjoying our wonderful roads, both city and county, and also get a link to the route that they can take, a route that we've determined is a really good route for folks looking to put miles on their bikes here in Polk County.
Okay. Very good. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to read the script for the executive session and then ask for adjournment to the work session and the Urban Renewal Agency returning back to the regular meetings executive session at the conclusion of the other two. So the script reads, the City Council will now meet in executive session for the purpose of discussing performance evaluation of public officers and employees. The executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.6602I, performance evaluations of public officers and employees, which allows the council to meet in executive session. Representatives of the news media and designated staff or other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session, welcome the audience back into the room. It's not anticipated that action will be taken this evening after returning from executive session. So again, we're not running everybody out until after everything else is done. So just wanted to clarify that. So if I could have a motion to adjourn regular meeting until after work session and the urban renewal.
I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So let's take 2 or 3 or 4 minutes and we'll meet.